I sighed with relief. Today was Wednesday of the first week in May. The end of semester, 5,000-word final paper for my comparative literature class was finally done, printed, emailed, and the hard copy hand-delivered to my professor's snail mail at his department office. It had been one nightmare of a project, and I still had flashbacks of late-night typing. How much caffeine had I gone through last weekend? I left the Student Services building and headed to the bus stop. The Vegas sun wouldn't let up, and it didn't take long before I was a little sweaty. I'm Trevor, age 22, a junior working on a business major with a literature minor. My dream is to open my own bookstore. I have the location already figured out, and I've been saving for years. My grandparents promised to loan me some money as well. That is, when I finally graduate, which won't be until next year, hopefully. Right now, even though it's only 2 p.m, after the non-stop hard work putting that paper together, I deserve to celebrate. Just below campus is a frozen yogurt shop, and next to that is a bowling alley. I love to bowl. I checked my phone. The next bus to the bowling alley wasn't for 25 minutes. Walking would only take me 15. I could use the fresh air. I plugged my earbuds in and listened to some tracks from my favorite local band, the Jumping Pyros. They did alternative cover songs with a K-pop twist, and best played, the louder the better. The bowling alley, the High Bowlers, was pretty lifeless on a Wednesday afternoon. The bowling alley doesn't allow outside food or drink, so frozen yogurt would have to wait until later. With a relaxed sigh, I walked into the bowling alley and up to the shoe counter to pay for a couple of games and rent my shoes. I wasn't the first in line, but waiting inside the bowling alley's air conditioning was a treat. The other reason I like coming here is the attendant, Mark. I knew little more than his first name, but I liked talking to him. I'm not shy, but I am around him. He is my kind of heart-throbbing cute. Did he know how desirable he was? Mark is a little taller than me, with deep green eyes and tanned skin and sun-blonde hair. This guy was out in the sun a lot. He moved with a casual athleticism, like somebody who ran or played some sport like soccer or basketball. Mark was slim, but muscular, not bulky. My erotic dreams come to life. That was all good, but what I found irresistible was his subtle confidence, the special way he could smile at me and make me feel important. I felt alive around him. I'd known him for weeks, dreaming about our first kiss or our first date, but I'd never gathered the courage to ask him out. Club Starburst was only a few miles from here, and I'd love to take him dancing. Mark was at the counter talking to an older woman. Today, he wore a black Jumping Pyros t-shirt that was tight about his pecs and his biceps, but loose around his narrow waist. He knew I liked the Jumping Pyros. We had talked about music only last week. Had he worn the shirt because he knew I liked them? My smile sort of snuck out. His shirt gave me an idea. The Jumping Pyros played this Saturday at Club Diggory. Maybe Mark would like to make a night out of it. Get a pizza and some beers and stay up way too late. How did he feel about making out on the first date? That's too forward of me. Maybe the second date? All I had to do was work up the courage to ask him. While I waited in line, I adjusted my earbuds and pulled up Club Diggory's website on my phone to see what the prices were. Since I had just gotten paid, I could afford 2 tickets, dinner, and a couple of beers. A Jumping Pyros song that I hadn't heard before played on my earbuds, a cover for Criminal by Taman. But this version was heavier on the bass than the original, and the way the 5 members harmonized with each other sent shivers down my spine. I liked it. I turned the volume up, way up. Nothing like going deaf for some good music. My head nodded to the rhythm. The older woman and a 10-year-old boy were in line ahead of me. She had short, dyed brown hair with highlights and long bangs and must have been close to 60. That hairstyle was popular years ago. Was this woman trying to look young? A grandmother and her grandson, perhaps? She frowned at me and yelled, "Turn that trash down. Good people don't listen to music like that." I couldn't actually hear her, but it was easy to read her lips. I didn't want to cause problems, so I turned my music down. "Your generation needs to show respect to your elders," she sneered. I wanted to say, "My generation believes respect has to be earned," but I kept my mouth shut. Didn't want to cause a scene that could cause problems for Mark. A couple of older women entered the bowling alley and stood in line behind me. One had a child about the same age as the boy. They began chatting with the woman in front of me, as if I weren't even here. Whatever. Hopefully they'll hurry up. I read through the Club Diggory webpage and the Jumping Pyros band bio. The ticket prices were good, and I could easily afford a large 3-topping pizza, and we could buy several beers. Saturday would be fun. Maybe I could get an autographed band poster, one for Mark too. The woman in front of me tapped me on the shoulder, pointing at my ears. What now? I took my earbuds out. Yeah? The woman had sour breath and a sour expression on her face that changed into the fakest smile I had ever seen. "We're having my grandson's birthday party," she sneered. "Surely a nice guy like you won't mind if my friends go ahead of you, and it would be easier if I could pay for everyone at the same time." I adjusted the screen on my phone and shut it off. The woman must have thought I was ignoring her. "Listen," she sniped. "We are a big group and we have to have priority. We will bring in lots of money for these people, but you're alone. They won't make much money off of you. So we are more important." I shrugged. Once the woman and her friends were taken care of, I could have a little bit of one-on-one time with Mark. "That's fine with me, ma'am," I said. "Ladies, children, everybody come here." The smile she gave me reminded me of a shark. "Bowling alley attendant," she sniped. "We'll need 30 shoes and balls, and everybody needs drinks, and cook up 10 pizzas, half pepperoni, a meat lovers, a vegetarian, and the rest are cheese, and 30 orders of French fries." 10 ladies and 20 kids had entered while I wasn't paying attention, and cut ahead of me. You've got to be kidding. There goes my quiet afternoon bowling. The lady in front of me gave me the weirdest, triumphant smile that seemed too big and showed off her gums. Why did I feel like she had just screwed me over? Because she had. "I want some cheesy garlic breadsticks," one of the kids yelled. "I want a candy bar," another yelled. "I want a churro," another kid yelled. And on it went. What a headache. I stepped aside and let all the others ahead of me. To get that many people checked in would take 15 minutes or more. How long would it take to get all the food ready? How could I ask Mark about Saturday night now? "Step aside, ma'am," Mark said, and quickly winked at me. "Let me get Trevor checked in so he doesn't have to wait." Mark remembered my name? Can a college guy get giddy over a cute guy? I think I just did. The older woman took a breath and her eyes narrowed. She wasn't happy about something. What was about to happen wouldn't be good. She puffed out her chest, gave a slight shake of her hair, and said in a high-class falsetto voice, she even trilled her R's, "Ladies, can you believe the disrespect? We're first. These low society young punks are rude and obnoxious. I'm Mrs. Wallace, the mayor's wife. My friends are the wives and children of some of the most elite people in Clark County. I was here before Trevor. There is no way you will let him go before us. You will take care of my group first. I'm more important." She shoved her face at Mark. He backed away. "Look, lady," Mark said, "I am the only person here. It will only take a second to check him in. You and your group, A lot longer. More than 30 shoes, 30 balls, pizza, breadsticks. Why didn't you call ahead so I could have been working on your order?" "The rudeness of young people," she scoffed. "I will not tolerate mere staff talking back to me. I will not leave a tip, and if you argue with me again, I'll speak with your manager and get you fired." "Didn't you hear me? I'm the only person here," Mark said. "Grandma, stop arguing. I want to go bowling," the kid with her said. "I will not tolerate poor service," Mrs. Wallace yelled, waving her hands to make a point. "I will speak to my husband, the mayor, about this. Get me your manager on the phone right now." "I'm sorry, ma'am," Mark said. "That's not possible. My sister is having a baby today." "Like I believe that excuse," she yelled. "I demand you serve us first." Mark gave the woman an angry glare. I could imagine what was going on in his head. Some variation of, "I only get paid minimum wage. I don't need to put up with this woman. I quit." That better not happen before I get his phone number. Maybe I can help. It's Trevor to the rescue. The things I do for love. And a possible date. Inwardly, I smiled and wondered what it would be like sharing a lane with Mark. Maybe sharing a pizza and beer as well. Maybe other things, if Saturday night worked out. "Mark," I said, hopping up on the counter and sliding over the counter to his side. "I didn't know Jennifer was your sister." "Sister-in-law, actually," he said. "She went into labor this morning about 8. I gave the stud my best smile and said, "Let me help. I don't have a food permit, so I'll take care of the shoes, and you take care of the food." The look in Mark's eyes was pure disbelief, and he quickly said, "But you don't work here." "Doesn't stop me from helping a friend," I said. I'd almost said, "a cute guy," but I stopped myself just in time. A little shadowy grin peeked out, and Mark said, "Thanks, I owe you. Whatever you want, if I can give it to you, it's yours." I gave Mark an innocent grin and replied, "You might not say that when you hear what I have in mind. It includes good music and a very late night. Maybe even a pizza." The slightly panicked look in his eyes was replaced with a grateful smile, and he said, "Meat lovers?" "Pure pepperoni," I said. The older woman cleared her throat and was about to demand something when I said, "We'll start with the kids. Line up and tell me your shoe size." Before Mark and I could flirt further, the kids and parents slammed us with their orders. Except for the paper I had just written, I hadn't been that busy for months. I'd been coming here long enough that I knew both the bowling alley's routine and organization for the shoes, and I quickly told the kids about where the lighter balls were while getting their shoes, and then answered questions about how to use the automated scorers, and I assisted with dropping bumpers for a couple of lanes or resetting the mechanical pin setters. 30 minutes later, everyone was tossing balls. All the pizzas and food were served, and Mark and I got a moment to slow down. We leaned against the counter, and I finally asked, "Saturday night, you doing anything?" He sort of had a coy smile, and then he just plainly spoke his mind. "What's Saturday?" The signal seemed right, so I eased a little closer to him, making the moment intimate, and I said, "I'd like to take you on a date. Jumping pyros are playing at Club Diggory. Dinner, a couple of beers, and the concert are on me. My treat." Mark seemed to think it over a little, but suddenly he was a little closer to me. It wouldn't take much for either of us to lean in and kiss. Except his phone rang. "What's the word, Dad?" he said, his voice a little anxious. Mark was so close I could hear every word coming from his phone. His dad said, "As of 15 minutes ago, you have a nephew. Mother and son are doing fine. Thanks for handling the alley today. Anything I need to be aware of?" Mark looked at me, smiled, and said, "I have a date Saturday night, so I can't come in. What time, Trevor?" "What if I picked you up at 5:30, and we might be gone all night," I said. "Hear that, Dad?" Mark said. "I need Saturday night off." Mark's lips seemed so full and so kissable. His breath was moist and warm. His nearness was like a drug. Mark hung up his phone and looked at me. He slightly bit his lip, and his shy smile was beautiful. I couldn't resist. The mood was right, with the smells of fresh-baked pizza and garlic bread, and to the sounds of bowling balls and pins getting knocked down. Mark and I leaned together, pressed our lips together, and amid the chaos of the bowling alley, we shared our first kiss. It most definitely wasn't our last. The end. I'm Gio, and thank you for stopping by my channel, and thank you for staying with the story until the end. I appreciate it. I'll see you next Wednesday. Peace.